need a name for this podcast. We've been doing segments of the podcast all day. We are yet unnamed, but still excited to be here. It's the 2026 Gear Show at OHD Studios, and I am here with Dylan from Crucible Media. Dylan's in the narrative world, which I'm very excited about personally, but also it's not something we see a whole heck of a lot of here in Columbus. And I know sometimes you're not actually filming in Columbus.
Hardly ever.
But as a Gahanna resident, why don't you tell us a little bit about what Crucible Media is?
Sure.
Some of the stuff you guys have done and what you guys got coming up.
All right. So Crucible Media is my brother and I. We have a production company. We specialize nowadays in narrative. It took us a while to get there, but pretty much we're just the guys that you come to if you've got a little bit of money, you got a script that you want to make. If you got big ideas and small pockets, we're your guys.
That's a great log line right there. And I know I mentioned that you don't do a lot in Ohio.
Yeah.
Where are you mostly filming and why?
So usually 90% of our business is in Kentucky because Kentucky has an amazing tax credit right now. They give 35% back to all productions that meet their requirements, which is phenomenal. I'm not exactly sure what Ohio's new one is, but I know it's not as good.
Well, I did have a guest on the podcast from the Film Commission talking about our incentives. The state incentive is 30. There is a stacking ability with like a local Franklin County incentive that if you do right, you could get a little more.
Okay.
Kentucky still beats us, though.
Gotcha.
We do have a location in Kentucky, so I don't care about promoting something out of state because we are also in that state.
We've utilized that location quite frequently.
See, that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
When you are attacking these projects, right?
Yeah.
And you are looking at stuff like the numbers and budget and tax incentive, what's the number one expenditure you're looking for in a movie, or you're looking at? What takes the most money up, I guess, of that budget? Like, what's eating the most?
Above the line. Producers and all of the different variations of producer, and it gets murky. You know, you don't know exactly. Every project is going to be a little bit different, but the bulk of that money is going to go to the people that have been working for months, if not years, to get it to the point that it's at. You know, it sounds, I don't mean to say that like, oh, producers are evil, they're just going to take all your money. But they've been working for a very long time without getting paid, prospect of getting paid. So when it comes around and finally comes to fruition and they do get that money, then they're kind of paying themselves back or paying each other for time spent beforehand.
And then whatever's left is what you get to the tools to
you have to
do
budget
the job
for that. And that goes back to like what I was saying with every project being a little bit different, because some projects you can get away with like, 30% of your budget being below the line, which is like your crew, your locations, what you're spending on the production chunk of making a movie. Or, sometimes it could be some crazy action movie that's going to have like, you're going to need tons of different special effects people. You're going to need this, you're gonna need that. Every project is going to have it where it's heavy. Sometimes it's equipment heavy. Sometimes it's talent heavy. Sometimes it's crew heavy. Sometimes it's insurance heavy.
I imagine the distance between some of those swings in the narrative world is a lot larger than in the commercial world because of, it could be anything like a car chase, helicopter chase, monsters, lots of CG. The narrative world provides for a lot more, like you said, project-based. How much is that going to cost? What's one of the let's do this. What's one of the lowest budget projects you're most proud of? And then what's one of the highest budget projects that was kind of a shit show?
So just for transparency, most of the higher budget stuff that we're a part of, we're just in the crew. Like
you're putting a disclaimer out before.
Well, I don't want to take credit for something.
I got you, but part of something you're proud of, you've worked on, that qualifies.
Okay, yeah. Well, so my brother and I, we stumbled on an opportunity. We answered a Craigslist ad for someone who was looking for filmmakers to turn their script into a movie. And, we're like, hey, that's that's what we do. Let's do this. So we
Big ideas, small pockets.
Right. So Craigslist is a little unorthodox way of finding leads for narrative work, but we did. So anyway, Where Brother hits this guy up and gets an email back, and the guy sends like a NDA for the script, which also is a little unorthodox, but it's not the end of the world. We're like, okay, he's protective of his work.
Yeah.
Sends us the NDA, we read it, we sign it, and then he sends us a script, and it's not something we would normally do.
Okay.
It was a little wacky, it had some it was a very like exploitation style film, which that wasn't really what we got in the business to do, but we hadn't really gotten any
Yeah, when you
narrative.
go on Craigslist, you never know.
Exactly. So we're like, whatever, let's do this. Finally got somebody who's going to pay us to make a movie. Let's do it. So we do, and this is way long-winded. We made that weird movie, and he loved it, and it did pretty well. And so he was like, okay, now that you did that, I like that, I've got some more money, so let's do like a bigger one. And he gave us an opportunity to turn an Oscar Wilde script into a narrative movie. The script was the play is Salome. Oscar Wilde wrote a play called Salome from the 1800s, and it's really, really cool. But when we read it, it requires all this extra stuff. It requires it's a period piece. It's biblical, you know what I mean? And it's about a king and a castle and all this crazy stuff. Oh, the guy only had 30 grand. So we're like, brother, you can't shoot a period piece with castles and shit for 30 grand.
A little tough.
I'm sorry. I mean, any feature for 30 grand
is tough.
Yeah. But again, Austin and I talked, and we're like, we gotta take this opportunity. How often is someone gonna give you money to make a movie?
Yeah.
When it's not your normal job. Now it's our normal job, but at the time it was not. So again, long-winded story. We pulled every favor we had made up until this point. We luckily had the right friends in the right places to bring the right stuff and the right things, and we, by some miracle, made this movie. It wasn't a period piece. The way we got around
that cuts a lot of budget.
Yeah, the way we got around it was, instead of king and a castle, it's a gangster in a nightclub, and we kept all the dialogue exactly the same. That way, it's still Oscar Wilde's Salome. Like, the beats are the same, the dialogue's the same. It's kind of like the '90s Romeo and Juliet.
Absolutely, yeah. Leo.
Yeah. We didn't have Leonardo DiCaprio, but we had Zach Miser. He did great.
Not for 30 grand.
Yeah, but anyway, it was a chaos shoot. It was chaos prep. It was one of the worst editing experiences I've ever had. But we did it, and it taught me every lesson that I follow on every single set from there on out.
Worth it for the education alone, then, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to violate any NDAs if you tell me what that one's called?
It's called Salome.
Oh, that's easy enough.
You can find it on Tubi, on Amazon, on Apple TV, on Roku TV.
I'm going to check it out.
It's really weird, dude.
What do you got coming up you're excited about?
Okay, so here next week, we're going to go shoot in Kentucky. This movie called Eye Patch, and it's awesome. The script is so cool. It's like a dark comedy, dramedy sort of thing, but it's by far the most technical movie I've ever been a part of.
Okay.
They are doing every camera trick you've ever imagined, everything. We're using every toy you've ever seen on a movie set.
Sounds fun.
It's a little nerve-wracking because there's no room for error on these things. Like when you have 50 people on a set looking at you, I'm usually a camera operator. So when everyone is glued to the monitors and I do steady cam a lot. So if I'm going through somewhere and my knee bumps my battery plate and you get a little whoop, then there's 50 people that are like, middle finger to this guy,
Pressure's on.
Pressure, but
different than you and your brother in the backyard.
Very
right?
different. But I'm very excited because it feels like a next level. It is like a huge jump.
New challenges, new clients, and then hopefully new steps after.
Yeah. And after this, I'm going to feel like, right now I feel pretty uncomfortable. I've never used a techno crane. I've never used we're shooting a lot on sound stages and stuff like that. That's all new to me. But I feel like, after spending 30 days, 12-hour days on these things, I'm going to have so many more tricks in my, so many more tools.
Again, an education just on a higher level.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it's all about. I tell people all the time to try and learn something on every set. And if someone tells you that they don't they're probably either checked out or full of shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's cool that you're always learning, always kind of striving to do stuff better.
Yeah.
But also, I see you a lot just like slumming it with no pay weekend fun gigs.
Yeah.
Right. And that's for the love of the game.
Well, it is, but it's another thing. Like, so my brother and I, Austin, I don't know if I ever said that, but we own Crucible Media, and what we want to do is want to direct movies. Like, we love working in the camera department.
You want to be putting the Craigslist ads out.
Exactly. We love working as
You
the
don't
crew.
have to use Craigslist.
Whatever. If it works, I don't care.
Yeah, put it out there. Is Craigslist even around anymore?
It is.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, we want to direct our own movies. We want to tell our own stories. We love telling other people's stories for our job. That's the best job in the world.
That education, the practice of it.
Yeah, and we get to play pretend for our job. How cool is that?
Yeah, that is cool.
Like, that's so cool.
Absolutely.
We get to tell cool stories. We get to hang out with our friends. We get to be creative. It's amazing, and we get a paycheck. It's even better.
Yeah, the most I do it, but without the paycheck, so that would be even sweeter. Well, Dylan, it was awesome talking to you today. Thank you for always kind of being a friend and around. Thanks for using our gear in the Kentucky or Ohio markets.
Yeah, man.
And thanks for coming to Gear Show, man. It was awesome chatting with you.
Of course.
Boom. Cut it. Cut it.